Hey guys, Now Phoenix here, and I'm playing some Blacklight Retribution, but I'm here to talk about some news that I read on IGN. In case you didn't know, Sega recently released some of their financial results for the quarter, and guess what sold 1.31 million? Aliens Colonial Marines, yes. A game that has a Metacritic score of 48 that's universally bashed by gamers, that has made people pissed off at Sega and Gearbox. Yes, that game sold 1.31 million. Just for a little perspective, Sega's best-selling game of last year was Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform. That sold 1.36 million. And you have to bear in mind, that game was released on the Wii U, 3DS, and Vita, whereas Colonial Marines was not. So if you want to talk about like the actual console releases, like the PS3, 360, PC, this game outsold Sonic All-Stars Racing Transforms. Yeah, that's right. It's really hard to believe that such a shitty game can sell so well. And you might be thinking, how could that be? Well, there's this little thing that publishers like to do called a review embargo. Basically, you know, like these review sites like IGN, GameSpot, and so on, they contact the publisher to get a review copy of the game so that they can work on the review and have it ready and everything like that in time for the game's release or before. But the thing is, a lot of companies are now switching to a review embargo model that prevents the publisher, or the publisher, prevents the review website or magazine or whatever from releasing that review until they deem it is ready. In the case of Sega, they apparently did a review embargo until the release of the game. That means that nobody had an opportunity to talk about this game and say if it was any good or not until the game already released and people had picked up their pre-orders and found out for themselves how good of a game it was. You know, that's what happens. That recently happened to Star Trek, and I actually like that game to some degree, but that's not related to something. You know, I mean, that game did have some problems, and I could see why Namco did a review embargo because their review scores were, you know, very similar to Colonial Marines. And, you know, the review embargo is something that is unique to a video game industry. It's not something that you'll see when it comes to movies, TV, music reviews, book reviews, and so on. You know, all these other forms of media, they happen to get reviews out before they're released in most cases, you know, at least if they have access to it. There's no such thing as an embargo, or if there is an embargo, they're definitely more lenient on it than the game companies are. And it's a really shady tactic, you know. I mean, it really makes you think, should I even bother pre-ordering games anymore? You know, and the companies really want you to pre-order because of a couple factors, you know. I mean, for one, it gives them, like, it adds to the bottom dollar. You know, even though, if you think about it, you know, technically that game is just on reserve through GameStop or whoever. But, see, GameStop, whenever they get a pre-order, they're going to order an extra copy of that game. That adds to the game company's financials. It adds to GameStop's too once the game is sold. But yeah, that's why they want you to do that. You know, they want to pad those figures and please the stockholders. They know they can get away with it. And everybody always has to pre-order games in droves. You know, I mean, I've already got a couple games pre-ordered through GameStop right now. Destiny and Assassin's Creed 4. I got a pre-order for an Ouya. You know, but you know, that kind of stuff happens. You know, I mean, we get really excited for a certain product, and we want to make sure that we're an early adopter of that product, so we pre-ordered the product, you know. But yeah, I just feel really bad for the people that pre-ordered Colonial Marines, not realizing what they were really getting into, because the game clearly was not like it was advertised, with the E3 demos and everything like that. Completely different looking game. I mean, yeah, still had the aliens, still had the shooting, still had the space, still had the Colonial Marines, I guess. So, I mean, guess if you take the aliens and then the Colonial Marines, yes, the game is as it says it is on the front cover, but not how they advertise it, that's for sure. In case you didn't know, Sega is being sued by some gamers for, you know, mislabeling the game, misadvertising the game. You know, it's yeah, it's not good for you know, they're suing Sega and Gearbox, you know, technically. And you know, in most cases, the publisher is at fault for releasing a bad game. You know, I understand that they have their release schedules that they have to stick to, and you know, they have their stockholders and all that good stuff, you know, so they have to make sure they have a steady release games. You know, they can't go around delaying games all the time and then not make any money. You know, I mean, they do have to make money from time to time. So, you know, that's understandable. But, I mean, this game had been in development for over 6 years. You know, I really don't know. Sega clearly didn't oversee the project very good. You know, making sure that Gearbox and other developers were doing what they were supposed to. Gearbox was clearly doing a very poor job of overseeing the co-developer, Time Gate Studios, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, they filed for bankruptcy. So, if you're concerned that maybe this particular studio is going to make more shitty games, don't worry about that. They're toast. And unfortunately, you know, some good people are going to lose their jobs. But, you know, I mean, sometimes this happens even when a good game is released, as long as the game doesn't sell. So, yeah, that's not good. You know, you know, but in this particular case, I'd say I have to blame Gearbox, because Sega contracted Gearbox specifically for this project. Gearbox chose to instead focus their attention on the Borderlands franchise and Duke Nukem Forever, which, by the way, Gearbox, great job on that one too. But yeah, I mean, if I was in Sega's position, I would definitely, you know, they're kind of screwed. You know, it's clear that Gearbox fucked them. It is clear. Sega could either take the path of not doing anything about it, which is what they're doing right now, so that they don't hamper developer relations in the for future projects. You know, they're obviously not going to deal with Gearbox again. I'd be really surprised if they do. Unless Gearbox is going to start publishing Borderlands for Sega instead of 2K. That'd be like the only case I could see Sega dealing with them ever again. But Sega doesn't want to hamper developer relations with other developers that they might want to get. And if they sue Gearbox, well, some developers are going to be pissed off, you know. Because that means, oh, well, the publisher's just going to sue us just because the game didn't turn out like they wanted it to. You know, I mean, that's not good. We're obviously not going to work with Sega. So, that's going to really screw Sega up on that, you know, as far as finding good third-party developers to develop games for them. No, they're just going to take the hit, and they're going to, you know, just, obviously you're not really taking much of a hit because people are buying this game like an idiot. But, yeah, that's certainly something to think about, you know, I mean, the game's still not profitable, just to let you know. Aliens Colonial Marines has about, you know, it has at least $60 million in the development cost of the game. Now, when you figure that a game costs about roughly $60, the publisher might get approximately half that, because you also have to factor in the cost for distribution. and the cost for retailers. You know, digital sales, you know, are going to be a little more profitable for them. So they probably get like roughly about $40 to $45 from a digital sale as opposed to $30. But yeah, it's still like a profitable game for them. That's good. That's very good. Gearbox clearly has run away with a lot of money on this one, though. You know, when I came up with that $60 million figure, that's what I read that Gearbox actually got from Sega over that time. So technically, the budget of this game is smaller than $60 million because Sega may have paid Gearbox $60 million for it, but there's clearly evidence that there's not $60 million worth of work in this game. Maybe about 1/10 of that, or maybe 2/10 of that, something like that. It's clearly a lower budget game that's been in development hell for a long time. I just hope that this doesn't mean the end of an Aliens gaming franchise. So, what's your guys' thoughts on this? Just let me know in the comments below. If you like videos like this, you like what you see, click that subscribe button, click that like button, and I'm going to go ahead and finish playing now. With that, guys, Down Phoenix out.